candidate list. But let's, I want a volunteer, I don't care who. I'm going to, okay, come on up here. Come on up here. Somebody's sitting in this chair, so we're going to put you in this chair. This young lady, and I apologize, tell me your name again.
Maurice.
Maurice, okay, so that's Maurice. And now we're going to pretend that Maurice is my brand new member. And I will do a new member orientation with Maurice the way that I do a new member orientation. And to the extent that you folks do what I do, you will begin to get what I get. Every single degree of separation between what you do and what I do is a risk. And so I encourage you to do exactly what I do within the confines of your personality until you're making enough money, whatever enough means to you. Once you're making enough, if you want to do other things, do other things. But until you're making enough money, then if you're doing a single thing different than I do, then stop yourself and ask, why? Why am I doing something different? For some reason, what this guy does makes money. He does that, and I'm doing this. Why? Why am I doing it differently? And just force yourself back onto that center line. Okay? And so now, if we have my new member, let's contemplate what has taken place up until now to cause her to get to a point of new member orientation. We know that, first of all, she had to exist on my candidate list, so she got there somewhere. Right? She was on my candidate list from somewhere. We know that I utilized a properly constructed script to allow a tool to talk. And we know that because she's my candidate, we know that what she has received is a video that would be 2 or 3 minutes long. That's the sum total of it. We know that if she's in this chair now, that after receiving the first video, she hit the ball back across the net. And here's what I mean by that, by hitting the ball across the net. I'm a pretty good golfer still. Not great, I'm pretty good. Many years ago, I was better. But now, because I'm no good, it's not as fun for me to play as it once was. I describe that. It's hard for me to do something as I once did. I'm an incredibly bad tennis player. And so every day I can be better, literally every day. When I go to the tennis court, mostly people don't like to play with me because I'm no good. I mean, if you watch the great players, they hit the ball hard and it literally dives across the net and play. If you watch a bad player like that, we chip the ball, it soars over the net, and then it soars over the back fence, and it's no fun. And so when I go mostly, it's by myself. And I've got a basket of 200 or 300 balls. And I'm just lobbing the ball across the net, trying to make this shape. I can't explain why it's so hard. I'm trying to make this shape. I'm hitting the ball across the net. There's nobody over there. It's just nothing. And so when I hit the ball across the net, I'm not expecting it to come back. If it did come back, I'd wonder what's going on. That's the way that it is when I utilize a properly constructed script and I say, gosh, Maurice, if I could show you how to turn your natural attributes into a greater outcome for you and your family, would you be interested in watching a short video clip with something we do together and have fun? I lobbed the ball across the net. That's what I did. I'm not expecting it to come back. There's nobody over there. I'm pretending there's no one there. So 6 times a day, I'm just lobbing the ball across the net. Gosh, I understand you're one of the very best at what you do. That's so fantastic. I'm eager to learn from you. If you're the best at what you do, that means you might be really good at what I do too, and it might make a greater outcome for you and your family. Watch the short little video clip, and then let's chat about it and see if there's something we can do together. Bang, I lobbed the ball across the net. And when I lobbed the ball across the net, again, my visualization is there's no one over there. But in this case, she hit it back. She must have, or she wouldn't be in this chair right now. So I lobbed the ball across the net, and she hit it back. She said, sure, I'd like to know more. And then I hit the second ball across the net. And she said, sure, I'd like to know more. And then she came to a home business review. And now, as a result of that, she's at her new member orientation. And so that's the series of things that would have taken place to get us to here in order to have that new member orientation. And so now what would I do? What I would do is I would send to Maurice this group of video clips and ask her to watch them in advance. So here's this group of video clips, and I would ask that she watch them all. And when I send them, I would send them and I would say, Chris, what you are going to see is, first of all, a recap of the 5 elements required for success, and you are then going to see the 10 steps for getting started correctly. Please watch these videos at least twice in advance of our meeting. So that would be the assignment that I gave. Send her this, please watch these videos at least twice in advance of our meeting. Then, when Maurice comes, and by the way, as you heard me describe yesterday, do I do these in Zoom? Yes, but I would drive an hour to be face-to-face with her before I would do a Zoom. If I can be face-to-face, and why? Once again, if I drive an hour to be face-to-face, is it not clear? Will the impression not be, he cares more than if I just said, meet me in a Zoom room? It's an unavoidable thing. I don't have to say it. It's an unavoidable thing. She's going to receive the information differently because we're face to face. And because we're face to face, it'll be a different kind of a conversation, just generally speaking. So I asked her to watch one, I asked her to watch him once, I asked her to watch him twice. Now she's watched them 2 times. When we come back together, then the first thing we're going to ask is, did you watch the videos? Now in this case, she wasn't actually given those assignments. I have no idea if she did or not. But I drove an hour, and if I said, Marissa, did you watch the videos? If she said no, I would not be unkind. I would not be rude. I would say, you know what? It's not appropriate for us to do a new member orientation right now. Please let me know once you've watched the videos, and I'll come back. And that's what I would do. I would leave it because it's a waste of my time. And it's also teaching her something that's wrong. It's teaching her that she should do new member orientations with people who have not watched the videos. She doesn't have the depth of knowledge to do it well. It's not going to go anywhere. And I promise you now, she will never forget that. And by the way, it is about half of the time. I'm not going to tell you that people always do it right. It's about half of the time that I show up and then I leave. No, I'm not going forward with this because you're not ready. And I'm not unkind and I'm not rude. I'm sorry. Maybe I didn't express to you that this needs to be done before we do new member orientation. And so as soon as you get through those, let me know and we can reschedule this. Then I leave. And now once again, the ball is in her court. If she doesn't send me back a message saying, I've watched the videos, let's get together, it's over. It's done. That's the way that I work. And you know what? It works. She will call me, and then she's taking ownership in her business. But if she doesn't, that's it. It's over. I'm not calling back. If she has watched the videos, or if she then watched the videos and made the appointment, now we get together. And when we get together, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to watch the videos again. Because why? Because it is over and over and over again. Remember 10,000 hours, 10,000 times. How many times do we have to see it so that you know immediately and intuitively and automatically what these steps are? And I am now teaching Chris exactly how to do her first new member orientation. And so what do? We watch together step number 1. And even though we're here together to watch the videos, I'm doing with you now the way that I do it. So we're gonna do it. So I said, okay, Marissa, I know you've seen these twice, but we're going to watch it again together right now, so it's fresh and current on our mind. And Marissa, every time you do a new member orientation, I want you to do with your new member the precise exact same thing I'm doing with you right now. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. And so now, we watch this first video. Step 1.
So, Randy, this sounds like they haven't signed up yet.
I do new member orientations for half the people have not signed up yet.
Okay.
Half of the time. And let me explain the logic behind it. When I went to my first presentation, all I heard was discussion of what the business is, what the business is, what the business is, what the business is. There was no discussion of what exactly do you want me to do to make money. And by you telling me what the business is, that's not actionable for me. But if I know what it is and I know what you want me to do, then it's actionable. And so I actually do more new member orientations for people who have not yet enrolled than I do for people who have enrolled. Because that becomes, remember in my ladder of escalation, that winds up becoming the point of logical conclusion for most people. I do way more enrollments at the conclusion of a new member orientation than I do at the conclusion of a business review.
Where
Business review, they've
does
been
that
told.
fall on the ladder of escalation then?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Couldn't this be the second follow-up?
No, it goes right
It's
here.
the third.
No, we have on the ladder of escalation.
The
what we
second
have.
look, I mean?
We have your first look, then we have the second video exposure, then we have a home business review, then we have a new member orientation. And so this new member orientation is the 4th rung on the ladder. This is the 4th rung, and this is where I do most of my enrollments.
Okay.
Because now-
I did this 10 stuff with that candidate, okay? Just like I told you I
Right.
did. Okay, we watched, we did all of this.
Right.
And he became much more interested after watching these 10 steps.
Exactly, for the reasons you said, because now we know both what it is and we know what to do. If we-
Because he was concerned about how to get his business started. It's
Right.
verbally what he said to
And
me.
that was exactly my reality all those years ago. And so new member orientation winds up being, for me, most frequently, that's the concluding point. Now I know what it is, now I know what to do, it makes sense, I can do this, so here we go. And so once again, the time never comes for me. None of you have ever heard me, nor are you ever going to hear me say, okay, give me your credit card now. Now it's time to enroll. You tell me when it's time to enroll. Don't leave me.
Maurice has to go to work.
I don't know how, but that's okay.
The urgency here that I have for all is if Maxie needs to be a TCM, we need to not be converting her to a DBO. It happens every day. People are overly eager to get DBOs. Folks, DBOs have maintenance. DBOs are going to quit. TCMs don't have maintenance. TCMs are not going to quit. We should not have some over urgency to be bringing DBOs into our business. We should have an urgency to be bringing TCMs into our business, and we should only be bringing DBOs into our business who want to be in business. Those who simply want to extend their buying power, let's let them be a TCM, that's where they belong. And so when I get to this step number 2, it is simply, so now Maxie, are you ready to go to work? If you're ready to go to work, then the correct decision is for you to become a digital branch office. If you're not ready to go to work, then I'd rather you became a TCM until such time as you're ready to engage. What's the right choice for you?
I'm ready to go to work.
Okay, perfect. That's how I do it. She's ready to go to work, great. Then we'll complete your registration. That's how we do it. And then as soon as a person tells me, I'm ready to go to work, that's when I pause the discussion and do the enrollment. She just said, I'm ready to go to work.
Right.
Fantastic. So I'm not going on to step number 3 right now. What I'm doing is going to the back office and doing a registration. That's what happens right now. And then we'll go on after that. We'll continue the new member orientation behind the registration. And so what just happened, what you just saw, that is where I do probably 75% of my enrollment. So the actual enrollment is happening once they know what it is, they made a decision, they watched the videos, they know what it is, they know how to do it, and now we've had the dialogue. Do you want to be a TCM or DBO? Are you ready to go to work? Yes, I am. That's when I do the enrollment.
And what if it's a TCM?
She has TCM.
I thought it his
You enroll
case.
as TCM and then you're done? Or
Then I enroll her. No, then I enroll her as a TCM, because remember the question was, she's already seen these videos.
Right.
And she's come to talk to me about the business. And so, no, I don't end it right then. I said, no problem, let's do your TCM enrollment. We're going to get back together when your time is right to start the business, but let's just very quickly go back through, and I'll make a couple of highlights for you. And now I'll make it very abbreviated, but I will still go through the 10 steps, because she came for a new member orientation. She knew why she was coming. She just told me she's not ready to go to work. If she's not ready to go to work, well, I want her to become a DBO next month when she's ready to go to work. I don't want her to spend $495 today. That's going to produce absolutely nothing for her.
Yep.
Unless she's ready to go to work, right? And all it's going to do is going to wind up with her having a maintenance requirement the following month, and she's not ready to go to work. No reason to do that. That's going backwards. So when a person says, I'm ready to go to work, that's when we do the enrollment. Between now and then, it's a TCM. Okay. Now we go on to this next one. We go to step number 3. This one is going to be okay. In Transact Card, not all organizations, not all parts of organizations are going to grow at the same pace. Some are going to grow at a dramatically different pace than others. And the determining factor, one of the biggest determining factors, is going to be step number 3. I cannot tell you yet if this will be programmed at the company level or if it will not be. But I'll tell you that my message from a DBO standpoint is not that it's a $495 registration. It's a bad idea. It's a $1,000 entry fee. Why is it a $1,000 entry fee? Because one must make an immediate commitment to 12 months of maintenance. Do not become a DBO unless you're prepared to commit to 12 months of maintenance. Because I can't make you profitable on day number 1. I can't promise you that. If you give me a year's runway to get you profitable, I can get you into the manager bonus pool, 100% chance in 12 months if you give me that runway. But if you're going to enroll today and next month you're going to be fussing about the fact there's a $50 maintenance, you're not making money yet, well then we're wasting each other's time. And so for me, this commitment, and I'm hoping that the company will make it a button to click to do a 1-year prepaid maintenance at the time of enrollment. And in so doing, to make an advantage. So instead of it costing $600 for your first 12 months, it's $500. Now, I don't know if that'll be programmed at the company level or not. I'm trying to make that happen. If it doesn't happen, that nevertheless will be my marketing message. You need to understand that this is not $495. You need to understand that if we're doing this together, it's $495, and you must now promise me that you have an irrevocable commitment to 12 months. My commitment to you is to invest 12 months of my time with you. Your commitment to me must be, in return for that, that you are not going to waver in a commitment to maintenance for the first year. Now, you see, if you have the right kind of dialogue around maintenance, then we'll build a business that has a chance. Yeah, remember that in my Canaway business, if you've got your credit card on file to receive the product, even if you're not making money, that product helps you. It does. It's a good product. And so you'll receive a product that helps you whether or not you're making any money. But in our case, the only value you have is in the swiping of that card, right? That's it. You can swipe the card as a TCM. There's no reason to spend $50 a month just to get the value of swiping the card. So if you're not participating in the comp plan, you should not be a DBO. You should be a TCM. If you are going to be a DBO and participate in the comp plan, you need to understand that every business has overhead. And that $50 per month is our required overhead. The other way to view it is that the maintenance is the lifeblood. And if we don't have blood in our veins, what are we? We're a corpse. And so, remember that I spent 30 months out of society. And during the 30 months that I was out of society, I never had a single month that I earned less than $250,000. That's crazy, isn't it? How could that happen? It's because I had 68,000 people on SmartShip when I disappeared, and I had 68,000 people on SmartShip when I reappeared. How did that happen? It happened because we didn't take it as a, oh, by the way, you should be on AutoShip. I hear the way that people describe AutoShip, and it's a joke, get on AutoShip. That's not it. This is a mandate, it's a requirement. And so the way that I do it is this, and by the way, this was worth $9 million to me. I made $9 million during 30 months that I was out of circulation. And how did that happen? It was because I said, Maxie, I promise you that I'm going to invest myself in your business for 12 months. Anything you ask me to do, I'm going to do it if it's reasonable. In return, the promise I ask of you is that you promise me you will not click off maintenance anytime within 12 months without calling me to discuss it and tell me what's going on. Do you promise?
I promise.
Promise?
Promise.
See, some words have power, don't they? Promise is a powerful word, isn't it? I think it's a really powerful word. Do you promise me that you will not click off maintenance anytime in the next 12 months unless you call me to talk about what's going on and I shake their hand? That's completely different than the way that the vast majority of people tell them just get on SmartShip or get on maintenance, whatever it is. It was just a nothing comment in most cases, and so it's an easy decision to get off. Because I did that, that's why I made $9 million for 3 years that I was out of the loop. People weren't on SmartShip because of me, they weren't in the business because of me, they're in the business because of them. But it was that promise, that was of enormous value to me. And if you want to know what is the biggest determining factor in long-term success, it is the lifespan of a SmartShip. And because most people don't ever get behind a screen, I'll describe it. By the way, this is not something I would talk about in every new member orientation as far now. But I became the president of a big network marketing company. And it was when I became the president of a big network marketing company that I got behind the screen and I was able to see what really goes on. Here's what I found out. The companies that grow and survive and thrive, they have SmartShips, average SmartShip lives of 16 weeks or longer. That's all it takes. The companies that grow, survive, thrive, they have an average life of a SmartShip of 16 weeks. The companies that are in trouble are SmartShips of 12 weeks or less. If the SmartShip average life goes below 12 weeks, the company's probably going out of business sometime in the next 36 months. The great big ones, Melaleuca, a $2 billion company. It's the most stable company in the entire network marketing industry except Amway. They are the only company in the world that has an average life of a SmartShip of over a year, more than 52 weeks, average SmartShip. I was the president of Monavie when we were really growing. We had an average SmartShip of 17 weeks. When we were stagnant, we had an average SmartShip of 14 weeks. When the company began to fail and had to be sold, the SmartShip life had gone down to 12 weeks. I promise you folks, the things that drive the company are, number one, the flow of new member applications. We must have a rapid flow of new member applications. I'll describe what that means in a minute. And second, we must have people who join us being on SmartShip or maintenance for 12 months. Those are the two things. If we have a rapid flow of new member applications and we have average life of maintenance of 12 months or greater, then you'll make more money than you can imagine. Like more than you can imagine. And it'll be fun, it'll be exhilarating. You'll be making money because other people make money. But our every single behavior, every single thing that we do is designed to cause a more rapid flow of new member applications and to extend the life of SmartShip. If that's what happens in your business, you make money, period. That's it. Okay, so step number 3, what was the operative thing? It was, do you promise me? I promise you I will do this. Do you promise me? In return, you will do that. That's what I did. And that is what creates stability on SmartShip, as opposed to it simply being around maintenance in our case. Okay, then come back over here again. We will have step number 4. Nothing as a result. That's now the assignment that I give. Of course, Maxie, remember I already sent her the videos. I asked her to watch them once, asked her to watch them twice. We got together. She said, yes, I have. Now, step number 4, I give the specific assignment. Maxie, we have a rapidly evolving back office. It's important right now, while it's changing so much, that at least once per week, you click on the various links in the back office so you stay current. Then on an ongoing basis, at least once per month, as we continue our development process, at least once per month, click on the links in the back office. The specific assignment is to click all of the links in the back office, and then I enforce that. And here's the way that I enforce it. Maxie, if you contact me anytime in the next 30 days and ask me any question, the answer to which is to be found in the back office, I will answer the question, just like that, and I'll tell you where it was to be found. If you contact me in 31 days and ask me a question, the answer to which is in the back office. This is exactly what will happen. I will pause and I will smile. Because if I don't smile, I might not answer it with the right attitude. I will pause and I will smile. And I will say, Maxie, what a fun question. Do you remember step number 4? Let me know when you find the answer. That is what I do. Because otherwise, I'm making myself a job. I'm teaching Maxie that I am her customer service rep. When on the other hand, I tell her all throughout the first month, if she asks me a question, the answer in the back office, I'm really happy to answer, Maxie, and here's where it is in the back office. I'm excited to answer it. Here's where it is in the back office. When the day comes, 31 days, she asks me the question. What a fun question, Maxie. Let me know when you find it in the back office. And now I'm creating self-sufficiency. Remember that every single thing that we do is either creating self-sufficiency or it is creating dependence. And if in a well-intended way, trying to help people, you create dependence, then what you make for yourself is a job, and it will not create the kind of income you want. If, on the other hand, we steadily and consistently, always and forever, engage in procedures that require that others become self-sufficient, then that's what makes it take on life in the medium of its own. So, you read to watch the back office, review the back office.
I know the.
Randy, when you say the back office, you're talking about where it says resources.
Correct. Well, just every single thing. You log in your back office, not just where it says resources. I
Click
want you to
them all
click
in.
every link that is in
Oh, the
there.
whole portal, the member
Every
portal.
single thing. If
Okay.
there is a link in the back office, it's there for a reason, isn't it? And so you need to know what's there. And you are going to get questions from your members about things that are in the back office. And so if you do it just like I just described, you'll have a group of people who know and understand the back office, and you'll have people who do not believe that the way to get their answer is to call you. To the extent that they believe that the way to get the answer is to call you, then you have a complete limitation to how far you can go, because there's just not enough hours a day to make it happen. Okay, and then we go to step 5. Now we go on to step 5. Okay, so step number 5 is to build belief. And here is my most basic thought. So I live in the West, and we've had real severe drought for the last long time. And the reservoirs are pretty low. And I don't know if you guys are watching this or not, but last year there was discussion that both the Glen Canyon Dam is what backs up Lake Powell, and Hoover Dam, which backs up Lake Mead, that both of them, if this is the reservoir, that in both cases the water level had fallen so low that there was risk of them becoming what they called dead pool. What is dead pool? Dead pool is when the water level is lower than the spillway. If this is the spillway, if the water level is lower than the spillway, then it can't come out and turn the electricity turbines, and so there's no generation of electricity. And so if the water level is below a certain point, then it's called dead pool. Well, in our business, if our belief is below a certain point, then it's dead pool. If our belief is below a certain point, then we just don't act. We think about the business all day and all night. We might talk to our husband or wife about it. We might talk to our upline about it, but we don't talk to any group members about it. We don't contact any candidates about it because our belief is simply too low. So the specific assignment that I give at step number 5 is for your first 100 days. So actually, this is a very specific assignment. For your first 100 days, the assignment is to watch 100 videos. 1 video per day for your first 100 days. What are the videos that I want you to watch? I want you to watch every single video that is in the tool suite that I provide to you. And those videos, if it's a 1 minute or a 2 minute or a 3 minute long video, then it's entirely appropriate to watch 2 or 3 of them in a day. But if you're watching a 30-minute long video, then if you're watching 4 of those in a day, that's avoidance behavior. That's not constructive behavior. But we have to realize that every day, if we don't put something into the top of this bucket, then pretty soon we are going to be at dead pool. While we be at dead pool, we'll be at dead pool because periodically a candidate is going to punch a hole in the bottom of our bucket. They're going to tell us no. Somebody we thought for sure would say yes. Maxie's going to tell you no. Someone who joins you and you believed is going to go all the way to the top, they're not only not going to go all the way to the top, they're going to quit, and they're going to tell you you should quit too. Those things are going to happen. And when those things happen, that punches holes in the bottom of our bucket and some water goes out. Now, whether or not you guys knew it, the reason that you were invited here today was an attempt, at least, to put a Kevlar bottom in your bucket. It was to make it so that no matter what decision anybody else makes, that it doesn't negatively impact your belief. That is the bottom line as to why you're here right now. It's because I want to put a fail-safe into it. I want to plug the hole in the bottom of the bucket so you're still standing a year from now. If you're still standing a year from now, great things can happen. If you let somebody punch a hole in the bottom of your bucket and you're not still here, well, then it was opportunity lost. Well, if we are steadily and consistently, every time you watch one of these videos, what does it do? It just adds to your belief a little bit. I mean, it does. That's what happens. And so you add to your belief a little bit. What if there's no hole in the bottom of your bucket? If you stop adding to it, it will still get empty. If we put a bucket of water out here on the deck and there's no hole in it, 3 days from now the bucket will be empty. Why? Because the water evaporated. Belief will evaporate without anybody punching a hole in the bottom of the bucket. Why will it evaporate? Because life is stressful. It's because we get tired, a little bit of belief evaporates. We have a little bit of a conflict at the office and our belief evaporates. We have a conflict at home and our belief evaporates. We get a little bit sick and our belief evaporates. It's just what happens. And we live in a society that is going to constantly, never-endingly pull us down. Never ending. It doesn't stop. And so if we're not doing something to fill the bucket up, then logically we're going to wind up in this dead pool. Now, if we do about half of what is required, if instead of watching one video every day, steadily and consistently, and we simply don't allow ourselves to get distracted, if instead of that we do that about half of the time, well, then what will occur is that the belief will be above dead pool, but below the top, and now it's possible but unbelievably hard. When your belief is above dead pool, but not all the way up. Now it's just hard. Every phone call is a battle. Every time somebody tells you no, it hits you right in the gut. This is a rotten place to live. It's just a really, really hard place to be. On the other hand, what if your belief is so high that it literally overflows? I mean, do any of you have any doubts whatsoever about my belief that we can succeed at this? You can tell, can't you? You know, what the words that a person says are completely insufficient as compared to the method with which they say it or the power with which they speak it. I mean, it's evident. People know what you believe. It doesn't matter what the words are that come out of your mouth. They know what you believe. And the reason this business is easy for me is because my belief is at the very, very top. And therefore, it just falls all over people. And I don't have to try to make it happen. And so, see, it's a really, really, really worthy endeavor to do enough to keep this belief bucket full. Now, we also know where is the biggest problem in belief for the vast majority of people. It's in themselves. That's the biggest problem. I don't have a lot of people, even with all the problems with credit cards, and all the problems that are out there, I don't really have people saying, well, I think Transact Card is going to struggle. I mean, it's not. The thing will be enormously large. No matter what the bumps are in the next 5 years, this is a project whose time is right. That's the truth. The question is, are we going to make ourselves such that this is our time? That's the question. The question is not, where is Transact Card going to be 5 years from now? No. The question is, where each of us individually going to be 5 years from now? And so, to the extent that we keep this activity going on so our belief bucket stays high, then it gets really, really easy. That's the single biggest reason that what I do is easy for me. And the same thing that I do is so hard for other people. It's all about this, all about the belief. And so, are you willing to watch one video per day for the first 100 days?
Yes.
Okay. Here's the next key. I've talked about this before. That which we measure can be improved. That which we don't measure, our minds will probably magnify. And so I would ask that you not just watch one video per day for the next 100 days, but you keep a record of it. And in fact, if any of you would call me, that I was working with a person individually, they would call me at any point in time. I'd say, hey, Grant, I'm happy to chat with you, Max. And before we go further, just tell me, what's the video you watched this morning? I check it. Oh, well, no, then she didn't watch one. At that point in time, Maxie, it's not a good time for us to talk. If a person calls me and says, just before we go to the conversation, what's the video you watched today? If she can't tell me right now what it was, you know what, Maxie? Watch videos for 2 or 3 days and then give me a call. Because now I'm going to have a different conversation.
I'll listen to it in the shower.
There you go. But really, it'll be a completely different conversation. If I'm talking to a person who is filling their belief bucket, then I'm going to have constructive, positive, entertaining conversations. If I'm talking to people whose belief is down here, every conversation is going to be like a rock fight. That's what it's going to be, telling me all the reasons it'll never work and all the reasons that it's wrong, blah, 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 blah. And so if I'm talking to somebody who's not doing what's required to keep their belief level up here, I end the conversation. I just end it. Remember, you promised me you'd watch one video per day.
Yeah.
Now you're telling me that you haven't. It's 2 or 3 days into it, and I can hear it in your voice. Let's be in touch after you've watched 3 or 4 videos. And I'm telling you, to the extent that you have the discipline to do that, then the business is fun. And if you instead allow other people's dysfunction to become your dysfunction, then this will not be any fun. And so, once again, here in the new member orientation, is where I give those specific assignments. That's step number 5. And so now I simply give her the link, and here's the link with all the videos on it. So it can be whichever one you want, Maxie. I really don't care which one it is. It can be any one of these created. It can also be anything. It can be anything that is in your Transact Card back office. It can be something that some other leader has created. If the content is outside of my own creation, then I cannot vouch for the content. If the content is my own creation, then I can vouch for the content. And I can tell you, if you follow that content, you're not going to get disappointed. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with any other content. I'm saying that I cannot vouch for it if it's not my own. And so, very specifically, the most entertaining, interesting for me at least to watch is the 35 years stuff. If somebody watches 35 years, they will be more encouraged. They will. They'll be more positive about our business after watching 35 years than they are before watching 35 years. Coming out, I think tomorrow, the HBR Basics and HBR Format is supposed to be released. You'll like those, they're encouraging. The Evolution of Network Marketing should come out at the end of the week. It's probably the best work that I do. But all of the things, again, it's not about the content being brilliant, it's about the content being accurate, and it's about your willingness to watch it every day. So that it keeps
I know
you
which
moving.
one it was, your first look.
Well, good.
It took me a minute.
Perfect, okay. Then, we come back over here to step number 6. And so, once again, what is the assignment? Watch one video per day for the first 100 days, keep a record of it. And when I have any interaction with a person, I ask. I just ask, say, by the way, what was the video you watched this morning? And pretty soon people know, don't call Randy unless you watched the video this morning. And if they watched the video this morning, then my conversation is going to be different than if they did not. And so I get to choose what is the nature of my conversation. You get to choose the nature of your conversation. How willing you are to follow the process the way that I describe it determines how difficult the conversations are versus how positive the conversation
I'm gonna tell you what I remember from it too.
Yes.
I need to listen 65% and talk 35.
And that is a big one.
Now,
So let's think here quickly about steps 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. How much talent or skill does it take to enroll in Transact Card and to create a mental and emotional barrier of exit and read it aloud every day? How much talent or skill does that take?
Very
0.
much.
What does it take? Willingness. Okay? How much talent or skill does it take to identify, should I be a DBO or a TCM? 0. It takes willingness. How much talent or skill does it take to make an absolute commitment? Randy, I will not click off maintenance unless I call you to talk about what's going on anytime in the first year, and I promise. How much talent or skill does that take? Absolutely none. What does it take? It takes willingness. How much talent or skill does it take to review the links in the back office? None.
None.
What does it take? It takes willingness. How much talent or skill does it take to watch one video per day for the first 100 days and keep a record of it? None. What does it take? Willingness. Now, I want you to know, folks, that the difference between those who succeed and those who do not succeed is not some particular talent or skill or background. It is willingness. Because no matter where you start, if you have the willingness to do those things, then you will get to where you need to get so that you can effectively behave. But if you don't do those things, then the current outcome, everybody please, every person in this room, understand this. All of us, self-included, our current outcome is determined by what we know today. It is determined by what we know how to do today. Our knowledge, our skill, our character, multiplied by our daily activity standard. Multiplied one more time by the vehicle of our association. That's the outcome. That is it. And to the extent that we are willing, if we are simply willing, then all of the rest of it is an absolute assurance. The rest of it will play out. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. No talent or skill required. Willingness only. That will be the most hopeful message you could possibly have. Because it matters not what got you here. It matters not what the road was that got you here. What matters is only willingness to behave certain ways that have been proven to work from here on. Okay, that being said, now we move on to step number 6. And step number 6 is an action item that does require a little bit of further thought. So, the preliminary candidate list, you just heard it. I want people who will encourage you and support you. And it's important, reframe the purpose of the First Home Business Review. I was taught when I first got involved in the business that I should invite the best and the brightest, the strongest people I know. And I was taught that I should have every anticipation of enrolling those people. No one that I invited in my First Home Business Review came. I invited the wrong people. I invited people who would be very, very harshly critical of everything I was saying and doing. And I invited people, it was wrong. They weren't people who would encourage me and support me. And so they evidenced that by not even showing up. And that was discouraging for me. If our First Home Business Review is discouraging, we're not very likely to have the second one. But if our First Home Business Review is encouraging, we're highly likely to have the second one. And so what I'd like you to have on that very first candidate list, if now I'm actually doing a new member orientation for Maxie, and say, Maxie, what I would like to know is who are the 7 or 8 or 10 people, and I say this smiling and lighthearted, the 7 or 8 or 10 people who your relationship with them is such, you could call them and say, hey, you know, I'm meeting tomorrow over at a cliff, it's 12 feet tall, we're gonna jump into a pile of sharp rocks, it's gonna hurt, but I need you to do it with me, and I count on you. Those are the people that I want to be at that first home business review. I don't care, honest to God, I don't care if they join our business. What I care is that you experience it, that you have the home business review and you see what it feels like. That's what I care about. And so now I'm going to ask you, Maxie, over here on this preliminary candidate list, write down a list of 7, 8, 10, 12, no more than 15 people, and send it to me. Okay. Now, here's where it begins to change. At step number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, it took absolutely no talent or skill for you to be an effective participant in the program. Absolutely none. At step number 6, you can start in advance of skill development, but if you want to become a contributor to the success of your new member, as opposed to simply being a guide to your new member through the process, if you would like to be a contributor to the success of your new member, then it demands that you begin to develop an inviting skill. Why? Because part of your role as the sponsor is to help your new member extend their initial invitations. Well, if you don't have that skill, then you can't really help them, can you? Then all you can do is say, listen to the audio. That's not the same as if you can actually help them. And so over here, I write this question. This is a question that does not need to be asked until we get to steps number 6, 7, 8, and 9. But here is the question that each one of you need to always ask yourself. Is it opportunity neutral because you're the enroller? If you, Maxie, enroll a new person, is the opportunity the same as if anyone else enrolls them? Is the opportunity not as good as if they'd had a better sponsor? Or is the opportunity better because you're the enroller? If you want to make this a 100% certainty that you make a lot of money, then make it such that your contribution makes the opportunity better for the people that you bring into the business. That's the beta, that's the fulcrum point. And so what might make the opportunity worse? What would make an opportunity negative? Well, it would be opportunity negative if I enroll you and I don't tell you the truth. That would make the opportunity worse, wouldn't it? It would make the opportunity worse if I don't do what I say I'm going to do when I say I'm going to do it. If I make appointments with you and I don't show up for them, that would make the opportunity worse. If you ask me to help you with a candidate and I'm not prepared for that discussion, that would make the opportunity worse. It would make the opportunity worse if my new member asks me a question about the compensation plan and I can't answer it. That's the truth. Then the opportunity is worse because I'm the enroller. If my new member asks me if I can do a 3-way telephone call with her candidate and I'm not prepared to do that, that would make the opportunity worse, wouldn't it? And so if I'm simply an effective guide to the system, I don't know it myself, but I can guide you to another leader. I can guide you to a member of the upline who can help. If you are simply a conduit to the system, you guide the member to another part of the organization who can help, then it's opportunity neutral. It's not better or worse because you're there. If you don't even guide the member to an effective leader, you don't have the answer, you don't find the answer, you don't do what you say you're going to do, you don't tell the truth, all these kinds of things, well then of course the opportunity is neutral. This is the magic, folks. Really and truly, and no kidding. What do you think? What do you think? Do you think the opportunity would be better if I was to teach, coach, and help a new person than if just anybody did? Yes. The reason I make money is because the opportunity is better when I'm a sponsor. If the opportunity is better because you're the sponsor, that's the fail-safe. You're making money, period. Mm-hmm. That's our task. You make the opportunity better because of your contribution. Then there is a 100% chance that you're going to make money. If the opportunity is the same because you're the sponsor, it'll take quite a while, it won't be easy, and it'll be like you're walking through slowly drying concrete, but you can be profitable. If the opportunity is worse because you're the sponsor, you're not going to make any money. And so the whole task is what? It's to make the opportunity better for other people. If the opportunity is better for other people because of your participation, then you're going to get the key in the lock. And so isn't it nice that our target is that? My target is to make the opportunity better for you. Everything about this is fundamentally correct. That's why people who throw rocks at the network marketing industry, they're just wrong. They don't understand. It's born of ignorance. Everything about this is making the opportunity better because of you. My gosh, I can't think of anything that would be more correct than that. Okay, so now we come back over here. At step number 6, prepare the preliminary candidate list. I've just asked Maxie to send me a list of 6, 8, 10, 12, 15 names. These are people who know her, they will encourage her, they will support her, and really and truly, I don't care if they join the business. What I want to know is they're going to be here and they're gonna have a smile on their face. That's what I want. Now, at step number 6, she sends me that name, that list of names, and at step number 7, that is when we learn how to invite, which learning how to invite is what? That we simply know what to say and not what, and what not to say, so that our candidate opens their eyes, their ears, and their hearts to the possibility. And so, now we're going to watch step number 7, I don't need glasses, hold that. There we go. And now we watch step number 7 together. And remember that in the illustration I'm using, Maxie has already received the videos. She's watched them once, she's watched them twice. And so now they're watching it a third time, and then I'm putting a little bit of meat on the bones. That's what's happening here. And have digressed into multiple conversations here. They're kind of sidebars, but that's what's going on. 7 is to know what to say and what not to say, so that our candidate opens their eyes, their ears, and their hearts to possibility. And so now at step number 7, this is when I give you the assignment, and I provide the video link to Mastering the Art of the Invitation. Step number 7 is where I give the assignment to listen to it 90 times in 90 days, and to keep a record of it. Listen to it. And by the way, it is a rare time for people to ask me to help them with retention. People always want me to ask them, can you help me enroll new members? I don't have very many questions about, can you help me keep the people I've got? If you want to keep the people you've got, a person who watches 100 videos in 100 days will be standing 100 days from now, period. They will be, they will still be here. Now, if you want to put a further plug in the bottom of the bucket, the person who listens to Mastering the Art of the Invitation 90 times in the next 90 days, they will be here 90 days from now. Those two things, if a person watches that video and listens to the audio, if that goes on for the next 90 and 100 days, they will still be with you 90 and 100 days from now. And 90 and 100 days from now, if you've been engaged in the process, they'll be gathering knowledge, they'll be developing skills, and many will be making money by then. Not all will be. And by the way, so I want you guys to understand what the numbers are and will be. Right now, company-wide, of all those who become DBOs, approximately 22% become managers. That's the number. 78% of people who become a DBO in this company are not managers. Now, might they become one later? Sure, the company's only 6 months old. But the fact is that most people who are going to become a manager become one fairly quickly after enrollment. It's not the truth that a person becomes a DBO, watches, wonders, all that stuff, and then 4 months later they either become a manager like right away or they don't become one. And so that is why my huge interest in let's not cause a person. I don't want someone to become a DBO who doesn't become a manager. I really don't. If they're a DBO and not a manager, they're losing money. I'm not interested in bringing people into an environment where they lose money. And so the very fact that we have 75% of the people who are joining the company, in my opinion, are making a decision they shouldn't make. They should not be becoming a DBO if they're not going to become a manager right now. And so again, I'm going back, that's why my 80% is coming from what? The fact that right now, 22% are becoming managers. Yep. And so the other 78%, they should not be becoming DBOs. They should be becoming TCMs. And so I know that we're missing that mark right now. Let it be that we don't miss that mark. There's no reason for somebody to be spending $50 a month to essentially be a TCM. That's what they are. They're spending $50 a month to be a TCM if they don't become a manager. No reason for that. And so there is such a thing as being a responsible sponsor. Responsible sponsor means that I know if Maxie made a decision to become a DBO, if I don't help her become a manager in the next 90 days, I can fully expect her to quit. That's what I said, winning the race to profitability. That for me is 90 days. If I can make it happen sooner, that's fine. But irrespective of what Maxie said, my objective is she's got to be a manager. She's not just got to be a manager. She's got to be commission qualified, not just commission qualified, but bonus pool qualified at the 90-day mark. If I am a responsible sponsor and my member wants to try, then we should have confidence that it's not 22%. It should be 90% of people are becoming a manager within 90 days. Because all the rest of them who are not willing to engage in that process should still be a TCM 90 days from now. All that make sense? Mm-hmm. And so now Maxie sends me the list of names, and when she sends me the list of names, this is the first part where probably no talent is required, but skill is. So where's my phone? Looks so easy to be me, and it's just not. All right, my phone's around here somewhere. So this is when she sends me the preliminary list of candidates, and now I send back my specific invitation scripts. Okay, now let's just be practical.
Is your phone in your jacket that you took off?
What's that? Say it again?
Is your phone in your jacket that you took off?
Maybe. It is. Thank you. Thank you. You are the bomb. Okay, and so this is when This is when I make those sample invitations. So this is where talent or skill is involved, right? So here's the question. Do you want it to be opportunity positive because you're the enroller? Do you guys all want it to be opportunity positive? I'm telling you that if you want this to be a 100% chance that you make money, the way to make that 100% is, Rich, if the opportunity is better because you're the enroller, you're going to make money. If the opportunity is neutral because you're the enroller, you're not going to make much. It's going to be no fun. It's going to take a long time. If it's opportunity negative because you're the enroller, you're not going to make money and you're going to lose friends. Right? That's true. And so we should all be focused on this, shouldn't we? If we're involved in this thing, we should be involved with the idea the opportunity is going to be better because it's us. And so, Maxie, the first requirement of you to make the opportunity better because it's you, the first tangible business requirement, separate from just being honest, being kind, being generous, being a nice person. Yeah, that's an assumption. Now we come over here. The first place where the rubber really hits the road is where you become skilled at helping others learn how to invite. Because that's the first thing that requires talent or skill on your part. Up until now was willingness, 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 willingness. Now it's time for you to become effective in helping somebody else learn how to invite. If you cannot send them the sample invitation scripts like I would send them to you, then that means that it was either opportunity neutral or opportunity negative because you're the enroller. That's the truth. And so right now, and don't never any criticism, commentary, that which is measured can be improved, right? But if you cannot help a person with sample invitations right now, believe it or not, that means it's opportunity negative because you're the enroller. Why? You can't just send them to me, because what if all of you asked me to send you out 20 invitations today? What if 200 people, what if 2,000 people asked me to do it? It's literally an impossibility. I've run out of my bandwidth. I can't do it. I need you to help me do it. I need you, right? And so up until now, it's been me. I've been carrying all that weight. I've done literally hundreds of sample invitations for people every day for the last months and months and months until the November function. I need you to be doing that. See, that's the part. And so, you say, well, wait a minute, Randy, I've never tried before. Perfect. The skills that comes from the doing. All we have to do is take out your own preliminary candidate list. Here's the person, here's the name, here's the relationship, and practice. Just practice. You know, the way that I do it, I just send out simple little text, send out video text, just practice. And if you find out, well, no, I'm not comfortable on the video text, well, no problem, then write it down. Practice. Practice and practice and practice and practice. Now, when I was first being taught, I was taught that I should become scripted. I hated the idea of being scripted, because scripts, to me, that sounds fake. Actors and actors use scripts, right? That sounds fake to me. But then, Samantha and I, we love Broadway. We've loved Broadway for a long time. So we go to Broadway. These are the most talented people, right? It's unbelievable. Do you suppose any of them would walk on stage without rehearsing, without practicing, without being scripted? No. Being scripted now, you see, I used to think that meant that it's artificial. No. Being scripted means that we are prepared. That's all it is. It means that we are prepared. And isn't it a sign of respect to my candidate or to my new member if I'm prepared? And isn't it then a corresponding sign of a lack of respect if I'm not prepared? And so, you see, we get to decide. We get to decide in advance what's the experience going to be like for the new person we bring into the business. And if the new person says, wow, this opportunity is better, thank God Maxie is my sponsor, because she's helping me do this. Wow. The money will then flow. That's when the money flows. That is the target for all of us. The opportunity is better because of your participation. And so I think it would be a really, really good idea listening to Mastering the Art of the Invitation day after day after day after day after day for the next 90 days. And starting at about the 2-week mark, it's a really good idea for you to just get out a handheld recording device and just rehearse a little bit. What would you say? You're doing a new member orientation for your new person. You need to help them create some preliminary scripts. Now you've got the examples that I sent to you. Just start practicing. Just start practicing. And that's not a, I think that's a legitimate request. Just start practicing. But my observation is not that most people who join our business practice at the things that would cause them to be effective at the business. I'd be surprised, I'd really be a little bit surprised to find out that anyone in here has actually made a decision and has practiced making sample invitation scripts. Have any of you? I now provide the video link for Mastering the Art of the Invitation. I give the assignment to listen to Mastering the Art of the Invitation 90 times in 90 days, to watch it, paying attention once per week, and about the 2-week mark to start doing a little bit of rehearsing, just to practice a little bit. Here's the candidate list. What would I say to this person? What would it be? Would I write it? Would it be a text? Would it be a phone call? Would it be a video message? How am I going to do it? And start practicing. And to the extent that you start doing that, then it won't be too long before the words and phrases that seem difficult today start seeming pretty easy. And by the way, Nathan Ricks, in 1990, gave me an audio cassette, way before CDs. He gave me an audio cassette. It was called How to Invite. And he said, Randy, listen to it over and over and over and over. And it was the most annoying, obnoxious thing. But I listened to it over and over and over. And then one day, to my great surprise, I thought that it was Nathan's brilliance that had created that. And one day I was riding with Nathan in his car, and guess what was playing? How to Invite. But the voice on it was Richard Call. He had been listening over and over and over to Richard Call tell him how to invite. And then he told me that Richard Call had listened over and over and over to Dexter Yeager. Folks, the people who go to the top in this business, in this industry, they all do the same things. They all do the same things. It's not different. It is the same. It is the same. And there's no luck and there's no guesswork. Step number 8 is when we learn how to present the business in a fashion that can duplicate. Now the assignment that is given is to watch HBR Basics, HBR Format. Now, those are both supposed to be out tomorrow, so I'll add them to it. And all they do is teach you the very most basic, obvious things. What time does the 7 o'clock meeting start? But it goes through a little bit more. If you would come to our home, you would see that we actually have an $11 budget. That's the budget. Because I'm consciously aware that a lot of people join our business right now because they need to make money. And the temptation would be to have somebody come to our house and have it catered. Well, what's wrong? Because I'm then teaching them, you've got to go and do this. And so we have some sparkling water, and a little bit of cheese and crackers, and that's the sum total of it. We also, when we extend the invitations, then we also send out confirmations the day of, and we notify people, this is our home, and so we ask that you arrive at 10 minutes till. If I don't tell them that, there will be some who arrive an hour before. It's my home. I don't want them in my house until such time as it's time for the business presentation to start. So we tell them specifically what is an appropriate time to arrive, and if they arrive more than 2 or 3 minutes in advance of that, when they knock on the door, say, you know what, we'll be opening the door in about 3 minutes. That's what I do. And somebody says, oh my gosh, Randy, that's rude. No, it is not. I told them what time to come and what time was all right when we were going to open the door. So all I do is somebody talked about boundaries. We just establish boundaries. We stay inside those boundaries. And when I do that, I'm teaching them that they also can start at 7 and end at 8 and have the rest of their life back after that. If I allow people to just wander in and stick around as long as they want, you say, but Randy, that's when the bonding takes place. Folks, I have a little boy and I've got a wife and I want to be with them. And so it is actually scheduled for 75 minutes. And 75 minutes after people walk in the door, people walk out the door. And that's the way that it works. If you put boundaries around your business, then people will stay inside the boundaries and it will have structure and it will work. If you let the inputs become vague, then the outcomes become vague. And if you want your husband or wife or significant other to resent you in this business, then have it be that people come at 7 o'clock and are still at your house at 11 o'clock. If you want it to be that instead they support and encourage you in the business, then put boundaries around it and stay inside those boundaries. Both the candidate will appreciate it, your husband or wife, your significant other will appreciate it, and you will too, because we can effectively do in 75 minutes what needs to be done. We don't need to spend 4 hours doing something that could be effectively done in 75 minutes. And once again, if you want your business to scale, the closer you come to following these various guidelines that I'm describing for you. Some of it seems like a lot of minutia. It's the reason in success and failure. There's the difference in success and failure. Business is big success and modest success. Step number 9. Yes?
About 5 minutes left.
I got 5 minutes left? Okay, you know what then? I'm going to very quickly do something totally different. Thank you so much. Now, before my gal leaves though, before Maxie leaves, there are assignments that are associated with several of these steps. The assignment is step number 5. So I'm concluding a new member orientation. My assignment at step number 1 is what? Maxie, if you've not yet done it, write out your mental and emotional barrier of exit, print it out, start reading it aloud every day, fax it or email it to me. That's assignment number 1. Assignment number 2. She's already made a determination. Should she become a digital branch office? Should she become a TCM? She said, I'm ready to go to work. Decisions made, done her enrollment at digital branch office. Assignment number 3. She shook my hand. She said, Randy, I promise you that I'm not going to click off maintenance unless you and I have a talk about it so we can discuss what's going on. And I'm going to reiterate that. You remember you promised me that, Maxie?
I promise.
Okay? Because I'm promising you I'm going to invest my time in your business. The return promise is that this is something we're doing together for a year. We're going to measure behaviors, but we're not going to measure outcomes for a year. A year from now, we're going to step back and measure the outcomes of all of these behaviors. But we're not going to make our decision to be involved month 2 based upon our results on month 1. If you allow that to happen, then you're going to have a constant, never-ending churn. That's step number 4. Actually, the assignment is to review everything in the back office and to do that on a continuing, ongoing basis and understand that I will help you understand and find any file for the first 30 days. 30 days from now, I would like it that you can help other people find the file. Agreed?
Agreed.
Step number 5, start today watching 1 video or more per day and keep a record of it. You do that?
Mhm.
Perfect. Step number 6, produce a preliminary candidate list, 7, 8, 10, 12 people. Send it to me with 1 sentence beside them. Who they are, what your relationship is with them, where you're going to see them next. Because I'm then going to, so if you see them at church on Sunday, maybe this is one you should just talk to personally in the parking lot. If it was someone that lives 700 miles away and you don't see them right now, so I need to know who they are, what the relationship is, where they are geographically. That then lets me send to you specific, exact inviting scripts. When you get the inviting scripts from me, they're going to sound like me. They're not going to sound like you. Your candidate's hearing from you. And so now what you need to do is add 1 sentence in the front, the middle, or the end. Front, middle, or end. Don't add 2 sentences. Don't add no sentences. Add 1. So it sounds like you, not like me. Somebody sends me who they are. Now that I know who they are, then I send the example. Now it might be that I completely miss it. Because no, this doesn't sound like that relationship. Okay, discard that one. But you will find that I've done it enough. You tell me what the relationship is, I kind of know what to say. And so now you simply take that and you make it sound like Maxie instead of sound like Randy. And that's a step number 7. So the assignment, watch it 90 times in 90 days. Step number 6 is send me the sample of the preliminary list of names. I send you back at step number 7, the preliminary invitation scripts, and I give you the assignment to listen to Mastering the Art of Meditation 90 times in 90 days. You do that?
Mhm.
Okay. And by the way, if you, in my every interaction for the first 2 or 3 weeks, in my every interaction when the person contacts me, I will always just put, by the way, what video did you watch today? Did you listen to Mastering the Art of Invitation today? I reinforce it over the course of the first couple of weeks because my experience is not that a large percentage of people automatically adopt and begin doing that. My experience is that it takes reminders, 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 reminders. Step number 8, you send me the candidate list. I'm going to send you out preliminary invitations, but we're going to be inviting people to what? We're going to be inviting people to first review a video, and right behind that, we're going to be inviting people to come to a home business review. And so we will then establish proposed dates sometime in the next 4 weeks. They can't be firmed up yet, because you got to send me the candidates, I'm going to send it over. But before the new member orientation ends, we're going to open up my calendar, you're going to open up yours, and we're going to put down 2 anticipated dates in the first 4 weeks for your first 2 home business reviews. And if I am the sponsor, if I am the enroller, I'm going to be there in person. I'm going to be there. What if she lives in Rome, Italy? I'm going to be there. That's my obligation. If I'm enrolling somebody, my responsibility is to be face-to-face with her for her first 2 home business reviews. And if she chooses not to do that, that is her choice. But my obligation is to be available for her if she's prepared to do it. And so that is, my business is basically about, the reason for the strength of my business is the strength of relationship. And if I come to your home, well, that changes the relationship. It does. First of all, it proves that I cared, I invested, I spent more money probably for my airplane ticket to come to your home than you spent to join Transact Card, right? And so there's no question about where my interest lies. My interest lies purely and simply and only in helping you get the ball across the line so you make a little bit of money. And so to the extent that you do all these things that I do within the confines of your personality, then your group will know that you care about them, they'll know you're trying to help them, they'll respect you, and it will be easier. And to the extent that you cut any corner, if there's any corner you cut, there will be a cost associated with it. I promise you every single thing that I do on purpose. None of it's by accident. It's either done because of some past success, or more likely it's done of some past failure. And I just constantly try to get myself closer and closer and closer to this center line, a proved and predictable pattern of activities, no luck and no guesswork. And so then step number 8, we've established 2 preliminary dates for the first 2 home business reviews. And by the way, let's talk about, I'm going next week, I'm doing this coming weekend in Sacramento, California. And if we go back, it was only in August. In August, I enrolled a guy in Sacramento, California that I knew, worked with 30 years ago. He's not been involved in network marketing for more than 20 years. But he just, in my tree shaking, I describe it, he kind of fell off the tree back in August. And so I went to his home 5 weeks in a row. 5 weeks in a row. But because I went there 5 weeks in a row, that is it's a juggernaut. I mean, it already is. 5 weeks in a row. He has 8 vice presidents in his group. And these are all people who've never been in network marketing before. I mean, in 5 weeks, 8 vice presidents. And it was just week after week after week after week. And the first time I went, I just went to Rick's house and that was it. And the next time I went, I stayed for 2 days and I was at noon at your house and 3 o'clock at your house and 5 o'clock at your house and 7 o'clock at yours. And that went on 5 weeks in a row. And 5 weeks later, we actually have now in that Sacramento group, we have 2 separate versions of this. This is happening next week in Sacramento, and 2 weeks after that it's happening in Modesto. And it's all people who came, they sprung from out of no place, starting back in August. And these are all people who are doing private small group presentations and in-home business reviews. And, you know, it's a group of people who, right, my guess is that the very second cards come out, probably gonna have 25 or 30 vice presidents in that group right away. And it's not because of anything magic. It is because of these exact things that I'm telling you about. And there's nothing, I promise you, if you met Rick, and you will meet Rick, Rick is not sparkling, he's not dynamic, he's kind of a frumpy-dumpy guy. He's a frumpy-dumpy, extremely lovable guy who does what he says he's gonna do the way he says he's gonna do it. And that's what it takes. That's what it takes. Okay.
Hey Randy, coming back to this thing that you're having with this person, they're gonna do their first home business review, you're gonna invite people to that, and you're gonna help them with their scripts. My question is this, is that script, are you helping them to watch the first 2 videos before that script, or because you're asking them to talk to such low-hanging fruit, you're just going straight to a home business review for them?
No, they're still watching, everybody watches. I don't care how low the hanging fruit is. They're watching video 1, they're watching video 2.
So she's still gonna be saying, hey, watch video, you're gonna teach her and show her how to tell them, watch video 1 and get back with me if.
Exactly, and
Okay.
with an expectation and anticipation that because it's this lowest hanging fruit, they're going to respond positively,
Sure.
right? And then we kind of get to determine how easy or how difficult that's going to be based on who is the person that we're contacting, okay? But once again, I'm teaching her right dead exactly by the book. If I allow myself to get 1 foot outside of the track, then I know that my group is going to be all over the stinking lot, right? And so I've got to be right, straight, dead, exactly on board. Okay, apparently that's it. Thank you very much. So folks, as I wrap this all up for this particular session, first, thanks again, Renee. Thank you, David. Thanks all of you for being here. I want you all to know my sum total only objective in this relationship is to help you succeed. There is no other agenda. That is the sum total, all of it. And anything I can do to help you within the confines of the process that's been taught. If you ask me to do a darn thing that is outside the process, I will very kindly and gently say no. But anything you ask me to do to help you that is inside the process, I will enthusiastically say yes. Okay? My last thoughts about the company itself, I want you all to know that I am completely certain of long-term success of this company. Based, once again, on intuition, more so than on fact. But I am completely certain, and I have no doubt. And one need only watch my pace of activities to know the truth of that. There can be no misunderstanding. If you see my pace of activities, then it's very evident that I believe there's something really special there, and I do. The real deal is this, is for each one of you to take the lid off. For whatever reason, whatever the lid is that's been installed, whether you installed it or whether somebody did, take the lid off and just give yourself a chance to succeed. If you give yourself a chance to succeed, this is kind of a magic moment.